Hi, passionate Rangers FC fans. Welcome to Rangers Update, your dedicated source for all things Rangers. Before we dive in, we want to express our gratitude for your unwavering support. If you bleed blue, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and let's strengthen our community. Now, let's get into the latest updates. A hearty welcome to our new followers. Your backing means the world to us. WATP, let's get to the news. The rumors hitting the streets of Glasgow are absolutely buzzing, with fans and pundits alike barely able to contain their excitement as whispers suggest that Rangers FC have secured one of the most formidable defenders in the modern game, Virgil van Dijk, to fortify their backline. Imagine the scale of this move, not just in the context of Scottish football, but across Europe, where Van Dijk has been a towering figure, commanding respect in every match he steps onto the pitch. The very idea of him donning the iconic blue jersey sends shivers down the spines of rival supporters, and it paints an audacious picture for the upcoming season, where Rangers might just become an unassailable fortress. Analysts are scratching their heads at the logistics, the financial implications, and the strategic genius behind what could be a landmark acquisition. Fans are speculating endlessly, debating whether this signing will be the turning point that finally tips the scales in Rangers' favor, potentially rewriting the narratives of domestic competition and European campaigns. Every detail, from contract length to possible adaptation to Scottish Premiership intensity, is being dissected with surgical precision, creating a storm of conversation that is yet to settle, but is already impossible to ignore in football circles far beyond Glasgow. Sources familiar with the negotiations, who prefer to remain in the shadows for the moment, hint that Rangers management worked tirelessly behind closed doors, orchestrating what could be considered a coup in the transfer market. Van Dijk's reputation as a defensive colossus is built on years of discipline, intelligence, and an almost uncanny ability to read the game, qualities that Rangers are evidently desperate to integrate into their squad. The potential ripple effect on the rest of the team is enormous, with young defenders suddenly presented with the opportunity to learn from one of the best in the world, while midfielders and strikers might benefit indirectly from the confidence that such a presence instills. There are, of course, the usual questions. How will Van Dijk adapt to the rigors and pace of the Scottish game? And can he maintain peak performance amid expectations that have never been higher? Every football forum, every chat room, and every social media thread has erupted in speculation, with fans drawing comparisons to other monumental signings, weighing up the pros and cons, and generally letting their imaginations run wild. The intrigue is tangible, almost electric, as supporters anticipate seeing a defensive transformation unlike anything seen in Scottish football for decades. It is the kind of development that ensures journalists, commentators, and fans are glued to every nugget of information as it dribbles out into the public domain, fueling endless discussion and debate across platforms and pubs alike. The conversation isn't just limited to domestic eyes, either. Across Europe, where Van Dijk has consistently showcased his elite capabilities in the Champions League, there is a growing fascination with how a player of his caliber might influence a Scottish club's trajectory. Observers are pondering whether this move could see Rangers mount an unprecedented European campaign, challenging established continental powers with a defensive bulwark that has become almost mythical in its consistency and authority. The sheer audacity of such a signing suggests a strategic ambition that goes far beyond merely strengthening a squad. It signals a statement of intent, a declaration that Rangers aim to compete at the highest levels on every front. Media outlets are filled with speculative pieces, fan videos are proliferating across platforms, and every discussion seems to circle back to the same thrilling question. What would it look like to have Van Dijk marshalling the defense at Ibrox night after night, repelling attacks with the calm assurance of a seasoned champion? It's the kind of news that transcends ordinary football chatter, hinting at a narrative that could dominate headlines and social feeds for weeks, if not months. The thought alone has caused a seismic shift in fan expectations, with season ticket holders and casual observers alike imagining a side that finally combines domestic dominance with genuine continental credibility. In every pub, on every podcast, and through countless Twitter threads, the anticipation is palpable, creating a shared sense of excitement and, perhaps, disbelief that one of the world's premier defenders could be heading to Scotland. The impact on Rangers' squad dynamics is equally captivating, with insiders suggesting that Van Dijk's arrival might trigger a cascade of tactical adjustments. Managers are said to be re-evaluating defensive formations, considering whether pairing Van Dijk with existing talents will create an invincible backline or require radical shifts in strategy to accommodate his style. It is the sort of high-level planning that fans seldom glimpse behind the scenes, but the mere hint of it has sparked imaginative projections across the supporter base. Discussions revolve around how his leadership qualities, honed over years of elite competition, could inspire existing players to elevate their game, fostering an environment where defensive mistakes become rarer, confidence surges, and overall team cohesion reaches previously unattainable levels. Every aspect of the club's approach, training, matchday planning, and recruitment, appears set to be influenced by the presence of such a transformational figure. Observers speculate whether this acquisition represents the dawn of a new era, where Rangers are no longer just competitive domestically, but are instead positioned as serious contenders in European competitions. Rumors about contractual clauses, bonuses tied to performances, and even potential captaincy roles add to the intrigue, highlighting the layers of complexity involved in a move of this magnitude. The excitement is infectious, spreading through fan communities like wildfire, as everyone contemplates the thrilling possibilities that lie ahead, with Van Dijk as the linchpin of a defensive renaissance that could redefine expectations at Ibrox. Reports continue to surface suggesting that negotiations were anything but straightforward, with multiple clubs reportedly expressing interest before Rangers stepped in with a compelling package. This raises tantalizing questions about how the club managed to sway a player of Van Dijk's stature, hinting at persuasive discussions around ambition, legacy, and the promise of building something remarkable in Scotland. Speculative chatter points to assurances of European competition, potential influence over recruitment, and a vision that aligns with the player's own desire for new challenges, illustrating that the lure of a historic project can sometimes outweigh the allure of traditional powerhouses. Fans are dissecting every snippet of information, piecing together narratives from interviews, leaked reports, and social media hints, each fragment adding fuel to a fire that shows no sign of waning. The excitement is not just about what has happened, but what it represents: a shift in Scottish football status quo, a daring claim that Rangers can attract world-class talent, and a challenge to their rivals to elevate their own ambitions. The speculation is both intoxicating and exhausting, keeping supporters on the edge of their seats as they imagine the transformation that might unfold once Van Dijk officially joins the squad and begins to exert his influence, both on the pitch and within the dressing room. The economic ramifications of this potential transfer are also making waves, with pundits calculating the value of Van Dijk not merely as a player, but as a brand and a statement of intent. Sponsorship discussions, merchandise sales, and ticket demand are all likely to spike in response to such a high-profile signing, creating an influx of attention and resources that could propel Rangers into new financial territories. Conversations about transfer fees, wage structures, and the balancing act of maintaining sustainability while chasing ambition dominate football talk shows, while fans eagerly weigh the cost against the potential for glory. In many ways, this signing encapsulates the modern football landscape, where strategic acquisitions serve multiple purposes: tactical improvement, global marketing, and the cultivation of a legacy. The mere prospect of Van Dijk in Rangers colors is enough to stir imaginations, ignite debates, and set off waves of social media engagement across continents. Analysts are comparing this scenario to previous landmark moves, projecting outcomes, and speculating on the competitive shifts that might follow, all contributing to a pervasive sense of anticipation that is difficult to contain. The convergence of sporting ambition and commercial opportunity has never felt more tangible, and every rumor that trickles out is dissected with an intensity that reflects the high stakes of football today. Whispers suggest that Van Dijk's potential adaptation to Scottish football will be closely monitored, with fans and pundits debating how his style will mesh with the notoriously physical and fast-paced nature of the Premiership. Some predict he will glide seamlessly, his intelligence and positioning compensating for any initial adjustment period, while others wonder if the intensity and relentless pressure could pose challenges even for a player of his caliber. Regardless, the conversation has created a surge of excitement around match previews, tactical breakdowns, and hypothetical lineups, as supporters fantasize about seeing Van Dijk organize the defense, intercept key passes, and launch attacks with the calm assurance he has displayed across Europe. The level of anticipation has fostered a unique kind of fan engagement, with online discussions often turning into detailed tactical analyses, imagining scenarios where Rangers' defensive dominance becomes so pronounced that rivals are left scrambling for solutions. It is the kind of rumor that transcends mere speculation, shaping expectations and dialogue in a way that few transfers can, painting a vivid picture of transformation, ambition, and the pursuit of excellence. As the buzz intensifies, the energy surrounding Rangers FC feels almost tangible, creating a shared excitement that permeates through supporter culture, media coverage, and the broader footballing conversation. Some insiders are even hinting that this signing could have broader implications for Scottish football as a whole, raising the league's profile and potentially attracting further high-caliber talent who previously may not have considered a move north. The ripple effect could extend beyond Rangers, with rival clubs reassessing strategies, youth development, and recruitment policies in response to the prospect of competing against a team fortified by Van Dijk's presence. It is the sort of development that redefines expectations, forcing a recalibration of what is considered achievable within the domestic league and beyond. The narrative surrounding Rangers is no longer just about winning matches. It is about ambition, perception, and the cultivation of a footballing identity that signals strength, sophistication, and a willingness to challenge conventions. Fans are collectively imagining a future where the club consistently competes at elite levels, using Van Dijk's arrival as a catalyst for a period of unprecedented growth and achievement. The speculation, excitement, and sheer energy generated by these rumors are enough to dominate conversations across social media, podcasts, and sports shows, creating a level of engagement that underscores the significance of what could be one of the most sensational transfers in recent Scottish football history. As the rumor mill continues to churn, speculation about Van Dijk's influence on Rangers' existing squad has reached fever pitch, with supporters debating which players will rise to the occasion and who might find themselves overshadowed by the arrival of such a commanding figure. Defenders who previously commanded attention for their tenacity are now imagined learning under his watchful eye, refining positioning, timing, and aerial dominance. Midfielders are projected to benefit indirectly, gaining confidence from the knowledge that a fortress stands behind them, capable of repelling even the most relentless attacks. Meanwhile, forwards and wingers are envisioned thriving on the security a Van Dijk-led backline provides, daring to press higher, attack with more abandon, and take risks knowing the defensive foundation is rock solid. Pundits and commentators are endlessly hypothesizing how tactical setups might evolve, whether formations will shift to accommodate his strengths, and how this presence might transform set-piece routines. Every rumor, leak, and insider hint is dissected with surgical precision, feeding endless conversation in fan forums and across social media, while rivals nervously assess how to counter what could become an almost impregnable defensive wall. The very thought of Van Dijk issuing commands, reading the game, and asserting authority at Ibrox has conjured vivid mental images for supporters, blending anticipation with awe, creating a collective excitement that is as much about culture and pride as it is about football strategy. The international football community is also abuzz, analyzing the ramifications of Van Dijk potentially moving to a Scottish club for the first time in his career. European observers are debating whether Rangers' defensive resilience could redefine group stage dynamics in continental competitions, turning previously tricky fixtures into manageable encounters. Analysts are drawing comparisons to other high-profile transfers, exploring whether a player of Van Dijk's stature can catalyze a club-wide evolution, instilling discipline, focus, and leadership that extends well beyond his personal contributions. Social media has erupted with tactical diagrams, imagined highlight reels, and passionate debates about how his presence might influence match outcomes. Fans from across Europe are watching closely, with some Scottish football enthusiasts thrilled at the prospect of global attention, while others are carefully calculating how this signing shifts power balances in competitions traditionally dominated by more financially powerful leagues. The notion of a club leveraging Van Dijk's experience and leadership to assert dominance domestically and make waves in Europe has created a sense of intrigue and urgency, prompting supporters, journalists, and rival teams alike to speculate on the possibilities and to imagine scenarios that blur the line between optimism and incredulity. Every hint of confirmation or clarification is treated like gold, with anticipation intensifying as discussions spiral into rich, detailed narratives across digital platforms and fan communities. Inside Ibrox, whispers suggest that Van Dijk's arrival could trigger subtle but significant changes in the managerial approach, with training regimes, defensive drills, and matchday preparations all potentially adapting to his presence. Coaches are reportedly evaluating how best to integrate his leadership qualities into existing structures, aiming to maximize both individual and collective performance. Players are speculated to be experiencing a mixture of excitement and nerves, with some eager to learn from a world-class figure and others bracing for the heightened expectations his signing inevitably brings. Speculative narratives suggest that team meetings, tactical briefings, and even locker room dynamics could be reshaped as Van Dijk's voice becomes central in discussions, influencing decisions that extend far beyond the pitch. Football forums and fan threads are alive with conjecture about how defensive responsibilities will be redistributed, whether younger defenders will gain mentoring opportunities, and how set-piece strategies might evolve to harness Van Dijk's aerial dominance. The intensity of the speculation reflects the profound impact a single signing of this magnitude can have, creating layers of excitement, pressure, and intrigue that permeate every corner of the club. For supporters, this is not just a player joining a team. It is the beginning of a potentially transformative chapter where ambition, strategy, and identity converge around the magnetic presence of one of football's defensive giants. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Meanwhile, debates rage over the potential commercial and financial impact of such a signing, with pundits projecting dramatic increases in merchandise sales, ticket demand, and sponsorship deals. The buzz generated by Van Dijk's association with Rangers has turned into a marketing phenomenon, capturing the imagination of supporters globally. Conversations in media circles speculate on whether this move might elevate Rangers' brand to levels previously reserved for Europe's elite clubs, attracting international attention, lucrative partnerships, and opportunities for growth that extend well beyond footballing success. Fans are imagining branded kits flying off shelves, matchday experiences drawing larger crowds, and social media engagement skyrocketing, creating a perfect storm of sporting and commercial momentum. Insider rumors hint at strategic plans to leverage Van Dijk's stature, suggesting collaborations with sponsors, enhanced media presence, and high-profile promotional campaigns designed to amplify the club's visibility. The notion that a single signing can influence both on-field performance and off-field economics fuels endless discussion, with every nuance of the transfer analyzed, debated, and celebrated. Even casual observers are captivated, drawn into speculation about how Rangers might redefine success in Scotland, using Van Dijk not only to fortify defense, but also to project a global footballing image. The convergence of athletic excellence, leadership, and commercial potential creates a narrative that continues to dominate discourse, keeping fans and pundits engaged in a frenzy of anticipation and excitement. Rival clubs are reportedly reacting to the news with a mixture of apprehension and strategic recalibration, evaluating how they might counter the threat posed by a Van Dijk-led defense. Tactical discussions have intensified, with managers and analysts assessing defensive weaknesses, midfield adjustments, and attacking patterns that might exploit vulnerabilities, however small, in a side now rumored to be virtually impregnable. Fans of these clubs are equally invested, engaging in heated debates about whether their teams have the personnel, skill, and tactical acumen to withstand a backline commanded by one of the world's best. Speculative articles, podcasts, and social media posts are filled with imagined scenarios, tactical adjustments, and match predictions, all centered around the prospect of facing Van Dijk at the heart of Rangers' defense. The narrative extends beyond Glasgow, influencing perceptions across Scottish football and even prompting conversations in European media about the evolving balance of power. Every rumor, from potential training routines to matchday lineups, fuels discussion, creating a competitive atmosphere both on and off the field. The anticipation and intrigue surrounding Van Dijk's possible impact highlight not only his individual brilliance, but also the ripple effect a single player can have on the broader footballing ecosystem, reshaping expectations, strategies, and rivalries. Speculation also abounds regarding Van Dijk's leadership role within the squad, with insiders suggesting he could quickly become the linchpin of Rangers' defensive philosophy. Fans are imagining scenarios where his presence instills calm under pressure, guides younger teammates, and transforms the mental resilience of the squad. Social media threads are overflowing with tactical theories, highlighting how his organizational skills and match intelligence might alter pressing strategies, defensive positioning, and counter-attacking opportunities. The impact is thought to extend to set pieces as well, with corners, free kicks, and defensive formations all potentially benefiting from his towering presence and anticipation. Analysts ponder how his communication on the pitch could foster cohesion, inspire confidence, and reduce errors, projecting a domino effect that elevates the team as a whole. The speculation is relentless, feeding a narrative that blends admiration, hope, and anticipation, creating an atmosphere where every training report, match preview, and rumored interaction becomes fodder for debate. For supporters, the excitement is not merely about individual brilliance, but about the transformative potential of leadership, experience, and defensive mastery converging to elevate Rangers' overall performance in ways previously considered aspirational. Rumors have also emerged regarding the potential for Van Dijk's arrival to influence future transfers, with insiders hinting at an increased ability to attract elite talent to Ibrox. Players previously hesitant about moving to Scotland might now reconsider, inspired by the prospect of playing alongside a world-class defender and within a team exhibiting serious European ambitions. Pundits and fans speculate that this signing could signal the start of a broader recruitment strategy, with Rangers positioning themselves as a legitimate destination for top-tier talent seeking both competitive football and professional development. The conversation has expanded beyond immediate matchday implications to encompass long-term strategic considerations, prompting debate about how the club might balance ambition, financial sustainability, and squad harmony. Social media buzzes with hypothetical lineups, transfer scenarios, and strategic projections, as enthusiasts dissect every angle of the rumor, blending hope, analysis, and fantasy. The cumulative effect is a heightened sense of expectation that transcends ordinary transfer speculation, suggesting that Van Dijk's influence could shape not only games but the club's trajectory for years to come. Every discussion reinforces the narrative of transformation, ambition, and the tantalizing possibility of a new era at Rangers FC. Finally, the overarching mood among supporters is one of collective exhilaration and speculative delight, as discussions shift seamlessly from tactical minutiae to grand visions of success, both domestically and in Europe. Fans are constructing elaborate scenarios, imagining Ibrox nights dominated by defensive mastery, celebratory scenes after clean sheets, and the adrenaline rush of thwarting top European opponents with Van Dijk orchestrating the defense. Podcasts, forums, and social media channels are overflowing with commentary, theories, and playful banter, reflecting the multifaceted impact of this rumored signing. The narrative continues to evolve, driven by each hint, insider comment, and imagined scenario, sustaining a feverish level of engagement among supporters. Whether it is discussions of defensive formations, tactical adjustments, or aspirational projections of silverware, the excitement remains palpable, permeating every aspect of fan culture. In many ways, the anticipation surrounding Van Dijk's potential arrival is as significant as any on-field action, highlighting how a single player can catalyze discussion, hope, and imaginative speculation. The buzz shows no signs of abating, creating a shared experience of anticipation that reinforces identity, pride, and the collective dream of a new, dominant era for Rangers FC, a dream that, if realized, would echo across Scottish football for years to come. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.